Last week, we heard about Natalie Neita-Garvey's roots, her journey from Browns Hall in St. Catherine to New York State in the United States. This week, her rise through the HR world and the call to serve in politics. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Welcome to Profile Part 2 now of our interview with Natalie Neita-Garvey. She is the MP for North Central St. Catherine's four-term MP. Last week we looked at her life growing up in Browns Hall in St. Catherine, her journey to St. Jago, to St. Hilda's, and then overseas. And now we're at the point when you ended last week's program, you said you had decided that you're coming back.
Yeah, man. I was very sure. Just through my entire life, I knew that Jamaica was the place for me, always my choice. It could have been my growing up in Browns Hall that contributed to that, because I've just always felt so grounded and special there. So even at university, I got involved in being at the radio station and being that girl who was Sister Natty at the time.
DJ Natty.
I was Sister Natty.
Sister Natty.
Sister Natty. So I was the one carrying that program every Thursday evening with a reggae show. So I know all of the reggae dancehall them from that time, from the 80s coming up. But I knew that Jamaica needed me, and I needed Jamaica as well, because when I'm here, I feel better. But
then you are coming back now, having had that experience in a much more, I would say, advanced from the perspective of the actual systems. So you come back now and you're trying to look work.
I'm coming back with nothing, because remember now I didn't get to work, My mom was at that time serving on a mission. I believe she was in South Africa at the time. And she told my sister, give her $1,000. Right?
$1,000 US dollars.
She was $1,000 US. She was angry because she said, where are you going? You don't have anything. What are you going to do? And I said, I am going whether I have $10 or no money. She gave me $1,000. And I thought, let me seek to find employment on the North Coast and stay in Brownstown, because Brownstown was also a very vibrant part of who I am today as well. And I literally started the job hunt from Brownstown, taking a bus, because I didn't even have a car then, taking a bus from Brownstown to Runaway Bay and to a lot of the areas to seek to find employment.
So you're walking from place to place?
Yeah.
Or you're...
No, I registered with the agencies. I'm walking into hotels, and I'm just introducing myself. Hi, I'm Natalie Neita, and I'm here to give service, and do you need me? I can do this, I can do that. And eventually somebody bought it, and said, okay, come on, we want you to do, with your personality, I think you would just do so well in PR. So without doubt, I got taken on there, and I served as not just a PR manager, but I served as their HR manager, but it wasn't called HR manager at the time, it was called personnel manager. Okay. I left there because I really wanted to start my political career. And I left coming to Kingston and got a job at the Ministry of Labour. And I thought if I'm at the Ministry of Labour, it would give me an opportunity now to start going to political meetings in my communities, not having any real connection yet with the PNP's organization, but I was going to start by mobilizing a community around development, and that should somehow lead to a political career. That's how I saw it, and I saw it right, because then I went back to Browns Hall, and there is where I started my political career, by starting to have meetings with the people in Browns Hall and looking at community development. And from there, I then became the first PMP councillor ever for that division in Browns Hall. So I took it for the PMP by 220 votes with very little. But the people believed, and they walked with me. Bulla and bag juice and anything else we could find. That's what we were having daily. And they went to the hills and valley, Kentish, and came back, supporting me through that process. I sat down, eat some things that I never ever want to eat from people I never want to eat from. But it was part of the people understanding me and wanting to work with me. And it worked. We won by 220 votes on the night of election.
But this was something you had in your head as something you wanted to do when you were 12. But the reality on the ground, no.
Yes.
How different was that from what you had anticipated or expected?
Probably just the financial demands. Everything else is what I expected.
Okay.
Because somewhere along the line, I recognized, even from my leadership role at university, I recognized clearly that people want what they want. They don't necessarily care about what you desire or what the community needs. They want what they want. So that was very clear to me. People treat people in leadership differently because they think you are responsible for what becomes of them and that they don't have that responsibility. So I recognized really early that nobody really disliked me. It wasn't about me. It was about them.
You always got that?
Yeah, I got it. I got it very early. And I've always tried to teach everybody else I've met, it's not about you. It's about the role you play and how they see you in that role.
So you don't get frustrated then?
No, I don't allow myself to get frustrated. You know what frustrates me, if you were to ask me? When a community can't get water and there's a source, and for some reason we're unable to pull it together to give them that water, that frustrates me. It frustrates me when I fix a road and NWC dig you up right after. That frustrates me because it just seems like our systems don't work. Yeah. It frustrates me when someone needs to be on path, but because they can't get through the BSI, they can't pass a test because somebody did send them a flat screen TV from America, or they have running water or something else, then that frustrates me because we're not moving forward, understanding where we are and what needs to happen for our people.
But you don't get frustrated by people coming to you and saying, we're not doing this and that and that and that.
No, my people are my lifeline. My communities are my go-to. Anytime you want to see me sad, keep me away for too long.
All right, but I have to take the break right there because we're on our way. I want to move from here to talk a little bit about that role in Parliament and as a cabinet minister, but we have to take our first break on this episode of Profile with my guest, Natalie Neita-Garvey. Back with you after these messages.